Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Tafseer As-Sadi. Today we read Soorat At-Takweer. Ay na'am. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا الشمس انكورت. When the sun ceases to shine. وإذا النجوم انكثرت. And when the stars are scattered. وإذا الجبال سجرت. And when the mountains are made to vanish. وإذا الإشار أُتلت. And when the heavily pregnant camel is left unattended. وإذا الوحوش حشرت. And when the wild beasts are gathered. وإذا البحار سجرت. And when the seas are set on fire. وإذا الإشار أُتلت. And when the people are sorted. وإذا الوحوش حشرت. And when the أي نعم. وإذا الوحوش حشرت. لا وإذا البحار سجرت. And when the seas are set on fire. وإذا النفوس زوجت. And when the people are sorted. But in other meaning, and when the souls are united together. وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت. When the female infant buried alive is asked for what sin she was killed. وإذا الصحف نشرت. And when the records of deeds are laid open. وإذا السماء كشطت. And when the sky is stripped away. وإذا الجحيم سعرت. And when the blazing fire is kindled. وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت. And when prayer is brought near, then every soul will know what it has brought of deeds. That is when these terrifying things come to pass. People will be separated from each person, will know what he sent forth is for his hereafter, and what he brought to it of good and evil. Hereafter, and what he brought to it of good and evil. When the day of resurrection comes, the sun will cease to shine. That is, it will be gathered together and rolled up, and the moon will lose its light, and they will be both drawn into the fire. And when the stars are scattered, that is, when they change and fall from their orbits, and when the mountains are made to vanish, that's when they become like heaps of loose sand. Then they become like tufts of dyed wool. Then they will change and turn to scattered dust, and will be made to vanish from their places. And when the heavily pregnant she camel is left unattended, that is, at that time people will become heedless of the most precious wealth and that they used to care for and tend for all the time. They will count them that which will distract them from that wealth. Allah mentions in particular the heavily pregnant she camel, which was the most precious wealth for the Arabs at that time, to refer to everything that is equally precious. And when the wild beasts are gathered, that is when they are gathered on the day of resurrection, so that Allah may settle to the scores among them and show people the perfect nature of His justice, to the extent that the homeless animals will be settled to its scores with the horned one. Then He will say to them, "Be dust." And when the seas are set on fire, and despite their immense size, they become covered with fire. And when people are sorted, that is, and the people of each particular need are gathered together, so the righteous will be gathered with the righteous, and the evildoers with the evildoers. The believers will be buried will be united with Al-Hurul Ain, and the disbelievers with the devils. That is like the verse which Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, the disbelievers will be driven to hell in groups. Those who fear the Lord will be ushered to paradise in groups. Allah will command, "Gather together those who did wrong and others of their rank." And when the female infant buried alive is asked, this refers to the extremely ignorant practice of the pre-Islamic era when the girls were buried alive for no reason other than fear of poverty. So the female infant who was buried alive will be asked for what sin she was killed. It is well known that she was guilty of no sin. This is a rebuke and harsh criticism of her killers. And when the records of deeds that contain all the people did of good and evil are laid open and distributed to their owners, some will take their records in their right hands, and some will take them in their left hands or from behind their backs. And when the sky is stripped away, that is removed. This is like the verse in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "On the day when the heaven will be rent asunder with the clouds, on that day we will roll up the heavens like a written scroll. On the day of resurrection, the entire earth will be in His grip, and the heavens will be rolled up in His right hand. And when the blazing fire is kindled, that is when the fire is lit, until it begins to rage and increases until it is blazing like never before. And when a paradise is brought near to the righteous, Then every soul will know what he has brought of deeds that is sent forth. This is like the verse in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they will find all they did recorded. They will find all they did recorded there. This is said that Allah gives of the day restoration, form and description that will shake people to the core. Lordship will become very intense. People will be deeply shaken, and fear will become widespread. This should motivate people of understanding to prepare for that day and detach them from anything that could incur blame. Hence, some of the other generations said, whoever wants to look at the day of restoration as if he can see it should reflect upon the surah when the sun ceases to shine. فلا أقسم بالخنس. Verily I swear by the stars that recede during the day. الجوار الخنس. Then rise and set during the night. والليل إذا أسأس. And by the night as it departs. والصبح يتنفس. And by the first breath of morning. إنه لقول رسول كريم. Verily the Quran is a word conveyed by no messenger, Jibril. ذي قوة إن ذي العرش المكين, having power of high rank before the Lord of the throne, مطاع ثم أمين, obeyed there by other angels and moreover trustworthy. وما صاحبكم بمجنون, your companion Muhammad is not a madman. وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين. نعم, indeed he saw Jibril عليه الصلاة والسلام on the clear horizon. ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو الغيب بدنين. Muhammad is not to be accused of lying about the unseen. وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم. The Quran is not the word of an accused devil. أي نعم. فأين تذهبون, so which way will you go? إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين. يعني the Quran is but a reminder to the worlds. إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين. For whoever among you wills to tread the straight path. For whoever among you wills to tread the straight path, but you cannot will it unless Allah, the Lord of the worlds, so wills it. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the stars that recede. This refers to the heavenly bodies that recede, meaning that they fall behind from the regular procession of the stars or heavenly bodies towards the east. There are 7 heavenly bodies that move in the sky. They say, I don't know if these words are the words of the Saadi, but the heavenly bodies and the stars, these scientists, they come and speak something, and after that they come and reject that thing. So we don't reject it, or we don't accept it. So now I don't know if this is the word of the Saudi or the word of the translator, but here Allah swears by the stars that reside in the stars. We believe in the stars that we all know is the moon and the sun and the other stars. That's what Allah is swearing it. So other than that, we don't accept it or we don't reject it. About Mercury, Jupiter, Wallahi Allahu A'lam. And that when what is meant is so we are not rejecting it or we are not accepting it. And by the night as it departs. It was also suggested that the word translated here as departs means comes. So the meaning of the verse will be, and by the night as it comes, or by the night as it departs. And by first breath of morning, that is when the signs of dawn appear and light gradually begins to emerge from the darkness until it is fully light and the sun rises. In these verses, Allah attests to the sublime prevalence of the Quran, its magnificence, and its protection against every accused devil, as he says, verily, the Quran is a word conveyed by no messenger, namely Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam, who brought it down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he tells us elsewhere. Verily, this Quran is a revelation from the Lord of the worlds. The faithful spirit Jibril has brought it down to your heart so that you may be one of the warners. Allah describes him as a noble because of his noble character and many praiseworthy qualities. For he is the best of the angels and the greatest of them in status before his Lord, having power to do what Allah commands him to do. By his power he overturned the houses of the people of Lut and destroyed them. Of high rank before the Lord of the throne, that is, Jibril is close to Allah. He is of high status and son of the elite chosen by Allah. His status is superior to that of all other angels. obeyed there by other angels, that is, Jibril obeyed among those on high, and he has troops among the angels who are close to Allah. They are subject to his command and will obey him, and moreover trustworthy, and he does what he is commanded to do, no more and no less, without transgressing the minute set for him. All of this is indicative of the nobleness of the Quran before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for it was sent with a noble angel who possesses these perfect characteristics. Usually, kings do not send someone who is dear to them except of the most important missions and with the most sublime messages. Having mentioned the virtue of the angelic messenger who brought the Quran, Allah now speaks of the virtue of the human messenger to whom he sent down the Quran and who called people to it. Your companion, namely Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not a madman, as was suggested by his enemies, who disbelieved in his message and fabricated lies against him, aiming to extinguish thereby whatever they were able of what he had brought. Rather, he was a sanest of people, the more mature in thinking and truest in speech. Indeed, he saw him, Jibril, on the clear horizon. That is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam on clear horizon, which is the highest that anyone can see. Muhammad is not to be accused of lying about the unseen. That is, he is not to be accused of adding to or subtracting from that which Allah revealed to him, or of consenting part of it. Rather, he is trusted by the inhabitant of heaven and the inhabitant of earth. He conveyed the message of his Lord clearly, and did not withhold any part of them from anyone, rich or poor, leader or follower, male or female, city dweller or desert dweller. Therefore Allah sent him to an unlettered and ignorant nation, who did not die until they had become devoted scholars who had attained a high level of knowledge and understanding, and they had become as if it were professors, whilst the most that others could do was their best. Well, is the most that others could do was be their student. If the Quran is not the word of an accused devil, having mentioned the magnificent virtue of his book by highlighting the virtue of the two noble messengers through whom the book reaches people and praising them, Allah declares the book to be free of any problem or shortcoming that could undermine its credibility. If the Quran is not the word of an accused devil, the word translated here is accused, means far away from Allah. Ainam, for which they will go. That is, how can this even cross your minds? How do you lose your minds to the point that you regard the truth, which is the highest level of credibility, as being like lying, which is the worst type of falsehood? Can this be anything but turning facts upside down? The Quran is but a reminder of the words, through which they may learn about their Lord and about His sublime attributes and what shortcomings He should be declared above, and through it they may learn about the commands and prohibitions and the reason behind them, and about the divine decrees and religious rulings, and through if they may learn in general terms of what is best for them in this world and in the hereafter, and they may attain bliss in both realms by adhering to it. Whoever among you wills to tread as the straight path after guidance has become distinct from his guidance, but you cannot will you cannot will it unless Allah, the Lord of the worlds, so wills it. That is, His will is always done and cannot be opposed or prevented. In this and similar verses, there is a refutation of the Qadaris who deny the divine will and the Qadaris who deny the free will of man, and as has been discussed previously. Allah knows best. Praise be to Allah. This is the end of the commentary of Surah At-Takweer. All praise and thanks are for Allah, and may the praise and peace of Allah be upon Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, and his companions abundantly until the day of judgment.